What's up, guys? So it is currently nearly 2:30 in the morning and I'm about to do a video on the Hello Kitty murder. So I just want to put a disclaimer saying I will be going to gory details and some of this may be disturbing to some viewers, so if you know that it will be disturbed or know you cannot watch things with gory details, I will not be showing any videos or photos of any crime scene, but I will be describing them in as much depth as I can. So if you know you can't handle that, I suggest you click off the video, but thank you anyway for tuning into my videos. The second disclaimer I want to put on is I mean no disrespect at all to the victim's family. I just took different information from different websites, articles I found, and even other people's videos, and just compiled it all into one video. So without further ado, I'm gonna start from May of 1999, where a 14-year-old girl made her way to a Hong Kong police station and was clearly distressed, crying, telling officers about a ghost that had been haunting her, the ghost of a woman who had been bound by electrical wire, tortured and murdered. Now police brushed it off as if it was a girl's nightmares or hallucinations. They did not believe that she was telling the truth, that it was all fabrications and lies. But they soon found out that this girl was, matter of fact, she wasn't lying, she was telling the truth, and she was basically, or she was admitting to a murder. Now a little bit about the 14-year-old girl. She was the girlfriend of one of the murderers, and well, it was more of a loose term, girlfriend. It was believed that she was just one of the prostitutes, that she wasn't actually the girlfriend. Now the victim's name was Fan Man Yi. She was abandoned by her family as a child and raised in a girls' home. Now I couldn't find any information of what age she was abandoned at, but just going on about the rest of the story, I gather, oh my god, the light just changed by itself. Dude, that light, did you see that? The light has different percentages, so I can dim it, and I've dimmed it purposely, and it's just gone back up. You'd have to tell Alexa to do that. Dude, my heart's racing. But, oh my god, why am I so freaked out? But, yeah, so, from what I understand, she would have had to be quite young, because from what I'm reading, she wasn't old enough to remember her family. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure she would have tried to go back or tried to get help from them or money or something, but nothing suggested that she ever knew them. By the time she was a teenager, she had developed a drug addiction and then started turning to prostitution to pay for her addiction. By 23, she had secured a job as a hostess at a nightclub, which still obviously involved prostitution, so she could earn money that way as well. So in early 1997, Fan Man Yi met a 34-year-old pimp and drug dealer, Chang Man Lok. The two met at a nightclub, and before long, I just heard something. Bro, my heart is like, okay, I can do this. The two met at a nightclub, and before more, I'm starting my words now. Before long, Fan Man Yi was a regular addition to Man Lok's group. So she got involved with the drug dealing and the prostitution, but now she worked for him. And then later on in 1999, desperate for money and drugs, Fan Man Yi decided to steal Man Lok's wallet which had £4,000 in it, and she tried to go off with the money. I keep hearing sounds. It sounds like a click, and there's sound like a rustling. And my dog's next to me, so I know it's not the dogs, and the cats aren't in the house. At night they wander around the neighbourhood. Seth's there, and he's the little one, so I would know if it's him. Oh my god, that's so creepy. That's so creepy. Oh my god. I hate scary stuff. I hate it. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. It's almost 3 AM and I hate this. 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 I don't even know if I should carry on. Bro, I'm panicking. Okay. Okay, I can do this. So she tried to run away with £4,000, and obviously she thought she was never going to see Manlock ever again, and that she was just going to get away with taking the money. But as soon as he saw his money was gone, Manlock enlisted 2 of his henchmen, Xing Chu and Wai Long. I don't know if I'm saying that right. You can definitely research their names. I'm not too good at pronouncing their names. I'm pronouncing their last names, not their first ones, because I can't pronounce them. Because these are pretty hard names to pronounce. But he sent both of them. You can't tell me you didn't hear that. Dude, bro. I'm like, shit, I'm not even halfway through the story. I'm panicking. I'm not even at the worst bit. I want to cry so bad right now. I'm panicking. Okay. He sent them both to go kidnap Man Yi. Now, Manlock's plan was to prostitute Fan Man Yi and take the money she earned to pay off the debt with some interest. So he was expecting her to pay him interest for her running away with the money and stealing it. So he wanted the £4,000 plus more. But clearly this wasn't enough for Manlock, and he decided to tie up Man Yi, and for over a month she was beaten, burned by cigarette butts, raped and forced to eat her own feces. Now, all of that combined must have been horrendous, and like, those were the last minutes of her life, that she was continuously raped by 3 men aggressively. Cigarette butts burnt out on her, and she was beaten. I couldn't even imagine that happening to someone. Or it sounds like a movie. It doesn't sound like something that actually happened. And they went the extra mile to make her eat her own feces. All of that is just, to me, mind-blowing on what went through their minds to make them want to do that to someone, or even think about doing it to someone. But Manlock's girlfriend, who they referred to her as Afong, which is spelled Ahfong. I don't know if I'm saying that right, Afong, but she visited the apartment where Man Yi was kept. This is when Man Yi was still alive. She said that she went to visit Man Yi. She went to go visit the apartment she was kept, and Afong recalled Manlock and his henchmen to kick Man Yi 50 times in the head. However, Afong joined in with Man Yi and continued to kick Man Yi. No, she joined Manlock and continued to kick Man Yi in the head. A fact, in the trial of the murders, when obviously everything was found out, in the trial, Afong pleaded, in her plead, she said that the whole kicking of the head she thought was for fun, which to me is a crazy thing to say. Why would you think it's for fun? You're 14, you may have been scared, and if she didn't do it, she would have got murdered. I can understand what was going through her head. She may have thought that she was going to get killed or whatever, and she could have said that to the police, but instead she said she thought it was for fun. She was 14, she was old enough to understand that that was wrong. So to me, it was crazy how she could say she thought it was for fun. She could have said, I didn't know they were going to kill me if I didn't help. She didn't say any of that. She sounded like a murderer, which completely blows my mind that they got a 14-year-old girl to involved in this. But eventually, the injuries Man Yi had to her body, so all the injuries she had received and had to endure, and the pain finally made her body give in, and she died. Keeping in mind, Man Yi was only, 23, 24, and it was actually the 14-year-old girl who found her. And I believe she was found dead in a bathtub, and the most disgusting thing is I also read that the 14-year-old girl said that the girl had pus coming out of her skin and body, which that could have been due to the injuries or infections or just decomposition. I'm not entirely sure what that pus was, but it sounds horrendous. I'm shaking now, like I'm actually shaking. I don't know, I've just started shaking for no reason. Okay. Bro, I'm like panicking. Okay, and then Manlock, so when they found the body and then the 14-year-old girl told Manlock and his henchmen then started to argue with each other of how she could have died because she was fine when they left her. But then Manlock said that she died of a methamphetamine overdose, which I don't believe that's what happened. I think it's because of the injuries, and I definitely do think it was a cold-blooded murder from what I gather of this, the evidence. It just doesn't make sense. It would have been a methamphetamine overdose. It would have had to be because of the injuries. The trio of cold-hearted men then took Man Yi's body and started to cut it up and dismantle it into little pieces, then boiling them. So they started boiling them in a pot on a stove, but then the disturbing thing is the stove where they had a pot of her boiling body parts. Next to that pot, they were cooking their dinner. So they were cooking dinner while boiling a human body, which then, can I keep in mind, only a psychopath would think I'm going to eat even though I have a dead body boiling next to me. Who would do that? If it was an accidental murder, if it wasn't something you meant to do, you wouldn't have dismantled and boiled a body. You would be panicking, and you definitely wouldn't be sitting there eating dinner with your friends. It just sounds so psychotic to me. But then, after they boiled the body parts, they took the body parts, threw them into bags, and casually just threw them away like you would paper or just your normal rubbish. The only part they needed to get rid of was the head, and now here's where it's being called the Hello Kitty murder. Why it's the Hello Kitty murder. Oh my god, I tried it again. Dude, I know we shouldn't have done this. I firmly believe my house is haunted. The head was then boiled, and here's another really gruesome fact: the spoon that they used to stir the head in the boiling water, they used the same spoon to stir their dinner. So they used the same spoon in each thing, and to me that makes me physically ill thinking that they'd done that. But after they boiled the head, they sewed it into a Hello Kitty mermaid plushie, an oversized Hello Kitty mermaid plushie. The 14-year-old girl then confessed to the murder and led police to the apartment where Man Yi was murdered, where the police found some body parts that hadn't been disposed of yet in the apartment. So there were certain body parts which I believe were teeth, organs, and more of the inside parts that they hadn't disposed of, and that they obviously just left there to dispose of later on. And then they found the plushie, and once opened, they took photos of everything obviously before, but once they opened it, they found the head and confirmed it was Fan Man Yi who had been murdered. And now, because of this 14-year-old's confession and leading them to the crime scene, there was so much hard evidence against all of them. There was no way any of them were going to get away with this. Now, all of them involved, so the 14-year-old girl, the two henchmen, which was Xing Chu and Wai Long. Once again, have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm really bad at pronouncing names, but I'm pretty sure that that's how you pronounce it. And then Man Lok. So all four of them were given life with chance of parole and 20 years, which I believe will be round about now. And they actually weren't put in for murder. They were put in for manslaughter because all of them said they didn't know she would die, which I believe is false. If you torture someone to the extent they did it, how would you expect that their bodies to be strong enough to hold that, keeping in mind Fan Man Yi was a very, very small woman. She was a drug addict. So everyone who knows this, most people who are drug addicts are very skinny and frail. And now you're beating up a small, skinny woman. She's not going to be able to hold all that, the abuse taken. And drugs on top of that aren't helping the situation, and everything to put together. How would you expect her to survive that? How would you expect her little body to survive something like that? But I do believe the 14-year-old girl was a murderer. I don't think she was as innocent, but I do feel like there was a bit of fear in it for her that she was going to get killed. But to me, it just didn't make any sense what she was saying. It was kind of like as if she didn't care that Fan Man Yi died, or it didn't matter to her. But that's the Hello Kitty case. It's very disturbing, crazy stuff, but they all got done with manslaughter because all of them said that they didn't know she would die, because obviously when they came back and saw her, it was one big shock to them because they didn't know what happened, how she died, when they were gone, they just found her dead. But I also read up that I don't know which one of the henchmen. I did read on one article, which I'm not entirely sure if it's true because I only read it on one. The rest of them didn't mention this, but apparently one of the henchmen did bring up or mention letting Fan Man Yi go. So taking the money she'd earned and just letting her go. But that was only on one of the articles, so that may not be true. But all in all, that was a cold-blooded murder. That was very disturbing that it involved a children's toy. But yeah, that's the video. I will be doing more murder cases. I've got lots of more research on a lot of other cases. So I will be doing videos on that soon. If there's any other videos or murder cases or paranormal stuff you want me to do, comment it down below and I'll try to do it at night so you can see my reaction to hearing things. And because right now I am panicking, the kitchen lights off and I keep looking through the window and I keep thinking something's gonna come up and scare me. I'm a bit paranoid now and I probably won't be sleeping because I am super paranoid.